a little interesting, you know, how she wrote the words describing Ruby and describing me.
Oh.
It comes better in a minute. I think it was recorded over something else. She went to a recording studio and they accompanied her while she sang.
Well, I left that house a half hour ago, pieces of my heart and a trailer in tow. I hit that highway like a woman possessed. I gave that old Chevy engine the ultimate test. Right about now he's walking through that door, wondering why I ain't there no more. Listening to the silence with a tear in his eye, and that's the sound of a woman saying goodbye. Well, he left me crying too many times, so I'm in this car driving out of my mind. I took the pride I had when we met, I left behind the pain, the blues, the regret. Right about now he's calling out my name. He thinks I'm playing some kind of game. He's waiting for an answer, but there's no reply.
Wow. She sounds like a real country western singer.
To be free. Right about now he's looking for a note, but he won't find none, and that's all she wrote. My foot hits the floor and that engine cries, and that's the sound of a woman saying goodbye. Well, I got the city limit sign like the wind, and I'll never hang my heart in that town again. Got places to go and people to see. It's good to be young, it's good to be free. Right about now he's looking for a note, but he won't find none, and that's all she wrote. My foot hits the floor and that engine cries, and that's the sound of a woman saying goodbye.
But it goes on like that, so. But she's pretty good, really.
She's really good.
Yeah, she's
No, that-
real good. She sounds exactly like you hear on the radio.
Oh, yeah.
Her only trouble is she's a little heavyweight. She's pretty, but she's heavy.
Oh, she was heavy when we were here before.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
You know, down there in Nashville, they're looking for pretty ones that sing nice, you know.
Yeah. You know, like that.
Yeah, so about her only bet is to get some well-known singer to latch onto one of her songs and sing it,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that to her, but I think she probably realizes it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like it
That's
used to
probably
be.
why they agreed to come back up here.
Yeah.
It's a video world these days. If she'd been doing that 20 years ago and it was just the radio, period,
Well-
she would have been fine.
I can remember a lot of heavy ones that were well-known in our day.
Yeah.
God Bless America, or whatever her name was.
Kate Smith.
Kate Smith.
Oh, yeah.
She was fat.
Yeah.
There's
She
a
was not just heavy. She was fat.
there's a mother-daughter team. I don't know much about country music, the Judds or something like that, and I think the mother
Oh,
is
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of she's kind of hefty,
Yeah, but she's got the two nice-looking girls.
but she's
to
got the
Yeah.
daughters.
hide her, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm probably wrong about that, but
I remembered this afterwards. There isn't very much in there, and the other one should be on the way anytime. I sent for it.
Yeah, because that woman that was doing it, that Sarah Clevenger, she was doing it, and she wasn't doing it for about 3 months. And now she started up again, Millie told me Saturday.
Where is she from?
I have probably New Jersey or somewhere.
Oh, well, We've got them listed by states here,
Ah,
like Indiana and.
yeah. 'Cause she was gonna go to Indianapolis and look something up,
Mhm.
but I didn't hear any more about it.
Is she around where she could see this?
Oh, Sarah Clevenger?
Yeah.
No, she's back east.
Oh.
I think she's in
You ought
New
to look
Jersey.
this one over. The other one will be here probably in a couple of weeks from now.
Yeah.
They don't ship them that fast.
Yeah, I know. Here's all the pictures. When was it?
43.
43. Yeah, 2 years before the war quit.
So what is that actually?
That was his graduation, and he didn't graduate with the class because he went into the service.
Oh,
I was,
But he got his graduation,
upon completion of basic training.
yeah.
they considered that an equivalent or
Yeah.
good enough. Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually my grades were pretty good anyway. I never
Yeah.
had. I get a kick out of the kids today where they complain about homework and all this and carry those big backpacks around. I don't think I ever took homework home in my life.
I did, but only because arithmetic was so hard for me.
Mhm.
And yet I've earned a living
Yeah.
doing arithmetic, you know?
Well, I don't remember ever taking any homework home.
Huh.
And I passed everything. In fact, they wanted me to skip that grade that time.
Yeah, I know, but Pop wouldn't let you in.
No. No,
He said you needed every grade that there was.
he needed an 8th grade diploma just in case I didn't go any farther.
Yeah.
Huh.
Is Mr. Baudry buried in the cemetery there at Mokena?
I'm not sure whether he is or not.
This looks like there's too much space around there because that's a crowded little cemetery, you know.
Yeah,
There wasn't much left there.
I don't know. Because it's been quite a while since I read
Yeah.
all that.
Well, I would have a rough time reading it anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of faded too.
But there's so much room around there that I'm sure it must be another cemetery. Probably they got another one in town now.
Well, they probably have with 6,900 people instead of 200.
And is this a shipwreck?
A shipwreck?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's you up there. It was probably taken in.
In the Philippines.
Yeah.
I don't remember that picture at all.
Really?
I only remember things that I considered artistic, I guess. I remember one time got to the back of a boat, and it was a big boat like that, and it had a rudder on the back, and it opened up, and then there was a couple of props there,
Oh yeah.
and I could take a picture of another ship through that opening, and it looked interesting then because of the
Yeah.
pattern around it. you
Sure.
know.
Yeah.
I guess you're right, though. This is the Philippines.
Yeah. Because they were in Mom's
But
stuff.
it doesn't even look like me.
Well, you were a handsome bugger.
But it didn't get close enough to let anybody know.
Yeah, but I've got that picture that you sent Mom.
Yeah,
That portrait?
That was a pretty good one.
That was a real good one. You were handsome there.
Well, I think my problem here is that I don't recognize that hairdo. I got a lot of hair.
Well, considering you still have a lot of hair.
Yeah, I do, but it's the wrong color now.
Well. Well, you know, Mom was gray by the time that she was your age. In fact, around 70 she was gray.
Was she?
Yeah,
Silver haired,
yeah, she was really
very
so-
white. Had the whole.
Oh, a pretty yellow. Oh, a finch. A yellow-breasted bird right on the fence.
There's the first car I ever owned.
It flew away.
And here's the guys I worked for in Manila. Every time I see that signing of the peace treaty on the Missouri, I look for these guys in the background because
Oh,
I know
really?
they're there and I can't find them.
Yeah.
That's a pretty nifty looking car.
That was a great little thing.
It's a convertible.
Yeah,
Wasn't that a Morris Minor?
yeah.
I got a good memory. I remember you telling me about a Morris Minor. She was a baby.
Yeah.
I mean, a real baby.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't she born in...
Terrible. Well, I've got one of Pop's someplace.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, and I can't remember where I put it. I put it someplace where it'd be safe.
Because I got a picture of him in his American Legion
Maybe.
uniform. I should make a copy of that and send it to you, huh?
Which house had that staircase? Over the way
That
from
wasn't in
somewhere.
Hamilton Field, because that's what the only house I was in at your house. And then
Okay.
Ruby got mad at me because I was wearing heels and I made marks on her floor.
That's the way she was.
I know, I know. Well, it's just those little tiny things like that you can remember, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, because the glory being that little,
Yeah.
and Randy being that big.
Let's see, all of those were in Grandma's safe deposit box.
Yeah.
You know, which was a little tin box that she had with her little treasures in it. You got birds. Here's yours. Yep. These were taken a month ago on my way to Reno.
It's snow.
Oh, yeah. We run it with the Amtrak train.
Uh-huh.
And this is my house across the street.
The
From my
view
front
from
door.
the view from her house.
I have to send you pictures of the front of my house and the inside.
That's California, though.
Oh, yeah. That's Montgomery Drive, and that's the buildings that are across the street from me. That's it. This tree is right in front of in my front yard. And then that's my car.
This one?
Yeah.
It's a big car. You should
Yeah,
have a
it's a
little.
Buick.
You should have a little car.
Hell no. Just like Alfred used to have a VW
Yeah.
because he was so little. And then the next thing he had was a great big Cadillac. He didn't keep that long.
Well, I got a '57 Cadillac when I got retired. And didn't I stop and see you on the way? Yes, I did.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that was a Cadillac that I was driving
Oh,
then.
really?
Uh-huh. It was a '57 Cadillac. And when I got to Salt Lake City, the alternator gave out.
Uh-oh.
And I was way up in the country, away from Salt Lake City. And it's Sunday, and I pulled into a gas station and asked him if there was a Cadillac dealer in town, you know, and he said, yeah, but they won't be open till tomorrow. And he said, what's the matter? And I said, well, I got a '57 Cadillac out here and my alternator's shot. And he hollered to some mechanic in the back end. He said, Charlie, do you still have that Cadillac in the back of your farm? And you know that he had a '57 Cadillac, and he got in his pickup truck and drove home and took the alternator off and brought it back and put it on and charged me $15.
15?
What year was that, though?
That was
It's 68.
68.
That would have been,
You'd have got 15 for the alternator alone.
yeah, that would have been like $50 now or something. Pretty good deal,
Yeah.
even then. Yeah.
And I've never forgotten that because I expected to pay about $50 or $100, you know, to have it on a Sunday of all things.
No,
Yeah.
can't go very far without an alternator.
He must have been a Mormon.
Nice guy.
So now, where is that picture of Pop? I've actually got a few things that you might be interested to look at.
It's like a high school diploma.
Oh, there it is. Wasn't that hard to find out?
Ah. So you did get your high school diploma, huh?
Mhm.
And you should. Lori. June 1943. When I got the Daily Bob to win. Oh, there's other pictures in here too. Oh, I gotta see these. Ah.
The 4th day of June, 1943. Gordon H. Clevenger.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I said. I
Yeah.
found it.
I should have one like that too, where he's reading a newspaper sitting in the chair like here, and it's all about Jackie Robinson.
Uh,
And I can't remember what Jackie Robinson was
he's a
doing.
boxer.
Baseball.
Or baseball.
Baseball.
Yeah.
But they said something about Jackie Robinson, and that was in the 40s. No.
Well, that was taken at Hamilton Air Force Base.
Oh, that's when he came to see you.
Mhm.
That's when because I went with Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
And that's the only picture I've got.
Oh.
And it's funny, you probably got the one I remember,
Let's see that.
and that's a cop standing in front of the butcher shop. And you remember how he always had the top button unbuttoned on his
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
And I just remember,
Huh?
and he had his hand up like
I'm
this.
sorry.
Of your dad.
Oh. Right there.
And he had his hand up like this.
And you know, that same year, was I taken in Mokena? That same year, I was posing for you, and I was
That's
doing.
the reason I just mentioned that. We all,
I can remember you took a
Yeah.
picture of me doing the same
and
thing.
you know, I sleep that way.
Do you?
Yeah, I have mine about like that, you know.
That's how I was dozing on the plane last
Well,
night.
I sleep that way on the
Uh-huh.
right side and my hand up here.
We're Clevengers. Oh, boy.
I don't know if there's anything interesting. There's a lot of interesting in that box over there. I won't throw any of this stuff away. All of this stuff is something that I use for those bingo flyers. I would just dream up things that were different, you know, and
Mhm.
say something like that to announce what was happening every night of the week. You know, if you read any one of them, and you will see that it says something about, say, what's happening on Wednesday night.
Friday, March the 10th, the 10th of March.
And then on the
The
other,
NCO, tell your husband about this Thursday outstanding sports film.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I just clipped that stuff out of the paper and pasted it all up and then put my own copy in
Put
there.
your own copy in.
And it was my imagination that got me that job and kept me that job for all the time I was at Hamilton.
No kidding.
And see, on the other side, there's another one there that is just a simple little thing to attract attention, you know.
See what we can see is
Oh, shoot. This is pretty good.
it's cute.
Yeah, it is.
Uh-huh.
And this is just a kicker, you know,
Never had a
Just
drink
enough.
on the house.
just enough to call their attention to something, you know.
You might fall off.
Wow. This is good graphic design.
I had some pretty good ones that I have lost over the years.
Huh.
Thirst is the blessing of the breweries.
Yeah.
Unofficial. Take a look at this one. Take a look.
And then these two went together here 2 weeks in a row.
Oops.
The one on each side.
Think big.
Yeah, that was a big deal with IBM about that time.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, these are great.
And some of them just apply to the military. You know, the joke is
Mhm.
something you have to be military or you don't get it.
That's great cartooning there too. to announce again that the monthly door prize will be discontinued.
Yeah, but it says that on the other side too. In real small print, right down here. You have to have bifocals in order to read it. Or if you're nearsighted like me, take your glasses off.
Oh, here's one. It looked shakier when it was new.
Okay, Steve, do you need glasses?
From where it's just hand lettering all the way through.
I loved doing that stuff when I had the opportunity.
Still got your card there.
Oh, yeah. Jeez, that's probably the
Oh.
last copy of that that's around. Good Lord. Yeah, I didn't get much business on it, but it was, some.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh yeah.
Oh, as long as you're showing things, that's the little
Oh,
business that I got.
sure.
What's
That
that?
way you can keep your bank balance
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything, huh?
Yeah, I can just type in an amount and then say that it's a deposit or a check,
Uh-huh.
and it'll keep it running down.
That way you always know exactly how much you got now.
Well, I double. Yeah, I still write it down anyway in case
Yeah.
I make a mistake someplace. And then I got this little gadget here. But
Now what does that do?
Whoops.
Oh, that's an address book. Yes.
and I submitted it to the paper, this Space newspaper. And it said that
Suggested.
they said the chaplain said that they shouldn't do that.
Copy, huh?
And I was going to send that into Reader's Digest
Yeah.
because I have since found out that the word piss is in the Bible. You know, it's a word that's commonly used, you know. So the Reader's Digest even might agree and publish it, you know. Of course, they've changed a lot anyway, Reader's
Oh, yeah.
Digest has.
I don't like their new format.
No, I don't either.
I like the old one.
But I remember the first issue that came out that had advertising in it. Or I should say I remember the last issue that didn't have advertising.
Yeah.
Because it was great. It was just what a magazine should be.
Yeah.
I subscribed to Time. I'm letting it lapse.
Oh,
The Time had about 15 pages that you can read and about 120 that you don't bother to advertise.
yeah. I know what you mean.
So then I tried National or Smithsonian magazine, and that too, they advertise the Smithsonian Institute, and
Yeah.
that's it, you know.
Yeah.
Once in a while, they'll have an interesting story, with one story in there. So I'm going to let that one lapse too. So the obvious thing to do is just stick with the reminiscence and read everything.
Yeah.
Read all of it.
Yeah. Because there's no advertising in that.
Nothing to amount to anything.
No.
Even if it is, it's something about remembrances.
That's true. Yeah.
This one's great.
And you'd be surprised that sometimes that only took me one night to do. You know.
You just drew it out and that was it.
Well, you just had the lettering down.
Well, it gave me a living for 55 years, I guess you might say. What the heck?
Oh, things like this here.
When I,
Years.
when I was over in Japan, or I mean in Manila, and the bomb had been dropped, they decided to send a special plane down from Tokyo to Manila with people who were going to arrange uh, armistice or whatever you want to call it, you know,
Yeah.
the surrender. And they painted this plane green and publicized the fact so that nobody would shoot that plane down. It was a green
Oh.
plane, leave it alone. You know.
Oh, jeez.
So in our hotel.
Yeah.
And my job was to paint names on their doors in Japanese.
Oh, really?
So I lettered the doors for all these, I think there were about 6 of them. And I had no idea what their names were. I just copied what it said in
What they
Japanese,
said,
you know.
yeah.
And it's about the high point of my career, as far as I'm concerned, of painting the letters on the doors for those guys to surrender.
Yeah.
And then after that, I got on the ship to go up to Japan. So I was up in Japan when they finally signed the surrender.
Yeah.
So I was already there when they signed it.
This is a great joke. I really like that one right there. It's reference to the chimps being sent up in space in the first
Yeah,
test
well,
rockets, and here you got
I
the
tried to be current about a lot of these things.
the lunar police number 714. By golly, there is life on other planets, and just like us too. Nice door.
I like your birds.
Hmm.
I like your birds outside.
Oh, I'm glad I got
They're
this.
chirping.
Well, on my,
Oh, look
my
at
outdoor
this.
lights, there was a bottom nest.
Patience, everyone.
Had 4 chicks.
Really?
And I went out of my way not to bother them as much as I could. you
Feed
know.
them all in one swell swoop.
I would go out the door and then it would fly around and around and circle
Yeah.
until I left.
Yeah.
And I watched them grow up, you know, and they got bigger and bigger, those big old beaks sticking up.
Yeah.
And finally they took off. And I don't know how they got out of that nest without breaking their neck when they tried to fly, but they can fly just like that. So they're gone now. I guess I can take that nest off of there.
Oh, they might come back to it.
I think they probably will because it's. I think it's.
It was a safe
They
haven.
remember
Yeah.
one generation to the next. You know.
It's just like the salmon. They go back to their breeding ground.
And that reminds me too that the 17-year locusts are coming back this year.
Or are they?
Yeah, they should
Oh,
be
boy.
here in another 2 weeks.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Okay.
Man, this is
Yeah.
classic lettering. I never got this good at it, but I'm really aware of classic sign painting lettering, and this is just great.
Did you see my sign on the front of the?
I forgot to look.
Well,
You know?
I looked around. I wasn't sure what sign it was. What does it
The
say?
Cricket.
What's that?
The Cricket Lounge, I think.
Ah.
Is the name of it is.
The lounge. Yeah, that was good. I saw that. I wasn't sure which one you were referring to. How long ago did you do that?
Well, it must have been about, say, a year, but it's probably been 2.5.
Yeah.
You're still
And
keeping your...
everything is 3
Yeah.
times as long as what you think it is.
Now, how did you get that particular job?
Well, after I quit Wharton, I went to work for Summers. And I guess I really did work full time for him, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
And then after a while, I slowed down and just went in every once in a while.
Yeah.
And then that particular one, I think, was when Ted just asked me to come in and design something for that particular job.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got pretty good on the digitizing on the computer.
Look at that.
You know.
Oh, you're doing, you were using one of the vinyl letter makers?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are nice.
Mm-hmm.
So you were actually, you're able to do your design on the screen
Yeah.
rather than having to hand paint it, and
Yeah.
then you push the button and it cuts it in the vinyl and you can
The
do
only trouble
multicolors. And,
That's what spoiled the sign painting business.
oh,
period.
totally. I understand.
gone.
It's gone. Nobody's going to ever
Nobody
learn
knows.
to hand paint again and hand letter unless
They got,
as an esoteric kind of thing. Well,
we've got
somebody,
a hell of a big sign business here in town, and we've only got 2 of them that do any hand painting.
you still need some hand
I
painters.
remember Pop doing all of the hand
Yeah.
paintings.
Well, they still do gold leaf. There's
don't they?
Yeah,
Well, for the
On
windows and
glass.
things,
But,
on glass.
you can get gold material now, so that the machine will cut the gold material.
Uh-huh.
But it doesn't have that same look of a hand-lettered gold leaf sign.
Uh-huh.
No, it wouldn't.
And that was what gave me my living at Horton, was doing gold leaf, you
Yeah.
know. And it got to a point where there was a guy that used to come around to sell gold to us, and I always bought out my gold from him. And after I retired, he called me up at Sunny's one time and wanted me to go to someplace and show some guy how to do gold leaf. He said, there must not be anybody left to do it. Because he had customers from one end of the country to the other, and he called me, you know. And then I helped to eliminate the gold leaf bit by figuring out a way to silk screen gold leaf.
Oh,
So now, even now over at Horton's, we can stock letters and just stick them on. Gold
oh,
leaf
really?
letters. And what, you know, silk screening, you figure that you have to have a certain thickness of ink when you screen through there.
Because Steve's done
No, I did years of screen printing.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
The mesh
gold
and.
size, you can pour it out just like water.
Oh, okay.
So
You'd have to have a pretty.
So you have to develop a technique in order to screen with what amounts to just water.
Yeah, very thin ink then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we licked the problem over there at Horton's, and now we can screen the size down, lay the gold, and burnish it, and machine finish it, and then come back and screen as many colors on it as you want, 2 or 3, you know. So I've got a couple up there on the wall, emblems that I've done in gold leaf. One of them's about this long, and about 6 colors on it. But it's real old-fashioned stuff, you know. And they saved that one and put it up on the wall. But they're still using my system for screening the gold. And the original owner of the company wanted to have it patented. And we went down to the patent office. I still got his card in my bunch of cards there. And he said, well, you haven't done anything different. It's still the same basic gold leaf process. And he's right. It is basically the same gold leaf
You've just
process,
you've just simplified it
except
and.
that I made it easier, you know.
Yeah.
And he figured he couldn't patent it.
Yeah, it'd be kind of hard to patent something that's just a technique rather than a
Yeah.
product, because otherwise, how would you collect royalties or determine what, all the sign painters that learned how to who picked it up from finding out about it? There'd be no way to collect any funds on it.
It's still different though, and I
Oh,
haven't
yeah.
seen anybody else do it, and Horton is the only one doing it.
Huh?
The other guys have tried putting the gold on just like we always used to, and they will cover it with a clear mylar
Oh.
and trim it, and just cover the gold itself. And that doesn't quite do the job. Because you see, I screen the size and screen all the colors I need, and then I had a laminator, and I would laminate it, and then I put it back in the machine again and cut it out. After it's got that laminate on
So
it.
you're making an actual vinyl peel sign that's transparently gold leaf, or no, gold leaf on the surface. You're not talking about a reverse image. You're talking about gold leaf on like a sticker, like a door decal for a truck.
Yeah.
Except that when you put it on, it looks
Yeah, but
beautiful.
It works both ways. Now,
Oh,
you can do it in reverse and stick it on the inside of a window, for instance,
okay.
and it'll read right outside.
You'd hardly be able to tell the difference from the outside then on
Well,
glass.
you can't. In fact, the tube light company where I buy all my equipment, or used to, somebody broke in there one night, and they had a gold leaf sign on their door. And they broke in and stole one of their Gerber machines,
How many thieves would want to steal? That would turn up somewhere.
Well, it's got a serial number on it for
Yeah.
heaven's sake, and if they send it in for repair or anything, they're going to know it was stolen. But anyway, it's stolen. They never did get it back. But he wanted me to re-letter his door. So I picked up, after I did it, I picked up this little price book. He said, well, how much is that? And I said, oh, I don't know, let's find out. He was selling these price books for $1.50. And our complaint in the sign business is that everything's too expensive, you know. So the suggested retail price was so much per inch. With the book that he sold and expected people to use, and I would have done the job for $200, you know. And so I said, well, let's just use your price book, you know, $5.50. And he almost had a heart attack. And I said, well, what the heck? That's what your book recommends, you know. And he said, you're right, you're right. So he gave me a check for $5.50. And then I went out to the car and pulled up another complete set of decals. Because as long as you're making one, it's no trouble to make two when you're screening, you know. So I gave him the other one. So he got it at $2.50. And then he used that on the other store he had over in Indianapolis.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
But I just thought that was the trickiest thing that I ever did.
Huh. Wow.
He using his own price
Yeah.
for it. And you would have done it cheaper.
And I didn't even buy the book. I just set it back on his counter.
Oh, jeez.
Although I have done other things that were sort of tricky. When I was in Chicago and decided to go back in the service, do you remember that?
Yeah.
I went downtown and went to the Army because that's where I was from, you know, and I was staff sergeant in the Army.
Yeah.
And I asked him if I could join re-enlist, you know. And he said, oh, yeah. What was your rank? Staff sergeant? Oh, we'll make you a corporal. You can go in right now as a corporal. And I said, well, I come out as a staff sergeant. And he said, well, we can't do any better than that, you know. So I went downstairs and went to Walgreens and had a cup of coffee. And then I went back upstairs and I went to the Air Force. And I said, I'd like to join the reserves. And they said, okay. And they joined me in the reserves, gave me my staff sergeant stripe. And as soon as they swore me in, I asked for active duty.
Oh.
And you should, the Army and the Air Force were side by side on their desks up there. And that sergeant at the Army we all went like this when I got sworn in and went out there on active duty 2 weeks later with it and got my stripes back.
Good.
And I thought that was one of the smartest things I've ever done.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was more pay and everything else.
And now you were with the Air Force.
Yeah, it's safer in the Air Force.
Oh, look at that.
But in that box over there, I've got all my military records there.
Oh, really?
And one of the things I've got is a telegram that they sent to me. It must have been this long, telling me that it was entirely voluntary, and if I didn't want to go in and be recalled for active duty, I didn't have to. And it took them 3 pages to tell me that. It's that long, a telegram, yeah. And
They couldn't just put it in 10 words, huh?
no, they just wanted to make sure I understood that I was volunteering and they weren't calling me back.
Yeah.
You know. But even at that, I was lucky, I guess, that I didn't go to Korea.
Yeah.
I could have. And I remember that desolate day that I landed at Muroc Air Force Base, before it was Edwards Air Force Base, and the train stopped. I was the only guy that got off. There was just a little shack at the side of the road, and the train pulled out and I just stood there. And about a half an hour later, an MP drove up and took me down to the base, because that was 10 miles away from the base. Well, there was that restaurant across the street there. and they were closed, or I could have called somebody, you know.
Yeah.
But I got there real early in the morning, and entry was just making the rounds, you know. And I guess he said that he checks there every once in a while because every time that train comes in, they leave somebody out there all by themselves.
Oh.
And it turned out that Edwards was just an old, rickety old army base, all wooden buildings and all this.
Really?
And we built that base then from the ground up.
No kidding.
And I was there long enough to complete the base and destroy the old base and move up to the new one. But I was there for about 6 years, I think.
Well, you did another one like that.
Yeah, sometimes I run out of ideas. You know.
Oh, this is a great idea. No, you have to be, the writing's really clever. You can have a human voice,
Well,
so it's
there
sound
was
off.
one in there where I wrote a column and attributed it to Herb Cain.
Really?
Well, I copied his style and
Yeah.
wrote the column, but then I signed it. How did I sign it now? Barry Crutch. Barry for Herb, and Herb is a berry, and Crutch for Cain. So I signed it Barry Crutch. And that's in there someplace, I think.
I saw the Abigail Van Buren one.
Did you?
I got that one.
Some of that might be some of my bankruptcy back in.
Well, we won't shoot those.
So that might be
Oh, damn.
I sent some ideas into 3M one time for dispenser boxes. And I wrote that thing up, and it sounds as if it was written by a patent attorney. And I couldn't write a thing like that today if I had to. That might have been it there on that typewritten page. But if you read any one or two lines of it, you'll see that it couldn't have been written by me. I don't know that much, you know.
Don't kid yourself.
Show her that one page.
Okay.
It's loose, I think.
This?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. Oh, look at this here. It's too bad some of these copies, I guess they are fading so badly. But I'm actually able to get them there. There we are. Well, she's drawing cute. I like your chinless characters there. Look at the folds. Man. I was just talking to Mom yesterday about at the airport. I was trying to sketch somebody with sleeping, and I was saying I haven't practiced enough on how to do folds in clothing. I sort of simulate it, but I don't have it down. You call him Fish because he drinks like one, and here is Bunny. A little risque.
You got good language in here.
That's what I mean. I don't. I think that
See,
must
the
have been
captain's
peak of my
writing Smith
influence
again.
during that period.
Well, if you could do it then, you could do it now too.
If I concentrated, you think? I
Sure.
don't know. I don't think I even misspelled any words in there.
It doesn't look like it. Heavens to Betsy. Tear the pages, you know.
It's rotten away, isn't it?
Yeah.
This bird is pooped on this guy, so he actually looks like a colonel instead of a captain.
Yeah. You see, the military, up to a colonel, you have a plain bill on your hat.
Oh.
But when you get promoted up to a full colonel, you get some trim on the beak.
I gotcha. And the... Oh, hey, you were doing some on acetate. I've got that one already. Did you draw it on that?
No, that's
That's
I
just-
draw it on paper and then I would expose
just a
it on an
positive.
oscillate machine.
Okay, I used to make positives for screen printing.
The old oscillate machine would do that.
Yeah.
And that's why it's all fading out, because they're all oscillate.
Huh.
And maybe a little ammonia would bring that back up again.
Well, the reason I ask is I used to, when I was doing political cartoons for the Spassville paper, I used to draw on a rough textured acetate
Yeah.
because the deadlines were so severe that I didn't want to have to redraw on paper for mistakes. So I would actually make my sketch, put a piece of acetate over it, use a technical pen, and draw it. Anything I didn't like, I just took an X-Acto knife and just scraped it off and then redrew it, and I ended up with a pretty interesting technique after a while
Yeah.
doing that because it lended itself to just
Well, do you
everything.
remember running into anything called craft tint?
Yeah, I used craft tint for a while.
Yeah.
They still sell it. I don't think
Really?
it's used very much. Yeah, no, it's around. The chemical process is
Yeah.
both the 1 and the 2, where you have
Yeah,
two tones on
two
one
different
page.
tones,
Yeah. I used it doing some of the cartoons for a while. Some of the guys are still using that actually. One of the the daily newspaper strips I've seen, you can tell he uses it just
Yeah.
because of the way it looks. He's not doing the Zipatone or the, well, they don't even make the Zipatone anymore, but you know, the,
They don't?
no, not under that name.
Yeah.
The acetate, the stickum, you know, tones that you cut out. It's a different brand name now. But everybody still calls it Zipatone if they've been in the business for more than 20 years because that's what they used to always call it. But
30, 20, 30,
Yeah.
40?
yeah. But I mean, that name is long gone. But I mean, as far as I know.
thought that craft tint was pretty good stuff.
Yeah, that made it pretty easy to,
They also made a textured board that you could use, and then you could just use when you scribbled on it, it would come out as a texture.
okay. Oh yeah, with a crayon.
Yeah.
Political cartooning.
Yeah.
Sports cartooning used to use that a lot. Yeah, I don't know what they call
I
that
don't
though.
remember now.
But I know you draw on it and then you use a crayon and rub, and it was so textured, pebbled almost, and you get different tones depending on
That
how.
was one of the things I discovered in high school, though, was I used to publish the school paper,
Sure.
mimeograph,
Yeah.
and I would make the drawings and everything. And I found out if I took a file, I could put it under there and rub it, and I would come up with a halftone in my
On the mimeographs,
Yeah.
because it's pretty hard to do anything really good on that, but you
Yeah.
came up with something.
And now I understand that they sell little pieces of plastic that you can do that with and
Huh.
get different patterns.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, I have. I don't know where I saw it, but
Huh.
I did.
Well, even in the case of the monolith, when I published these things here, I could draw that right on a monolith master.
Oh.
And the way I would do that was to draw it with a Pentel, and that is enough to reproduce.
Hmm.
You know how you have to type on it for a special typewriter and all
Okay.
that? So the Pentel would do the same thing. It would repel the ink.
I never had to use one of those much. The first 1973, when I was in junior high school, a buddy and I put out a comic book, about 16 pages, and they let us use the Office Ditto machine,
Yeah.
and that was with a multi-cut. It was either pink or green, where the color, you know, that's the actual. You draw right on this master and peel it off, and then wrap it around the.
This is the one
Yeah.
that you actually put this on the machine.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. That's what this was. Yeah.
And I felt that I discovered that too when I wrote a note on one of them and asked the guy that was going to print it. I just wrote a note and said I need this by such and such a date, and it showed up when it printed. So I found out that I didn't have to make a drawing and then have a Xerox copy made on that monolith. I could just draw right
on
take
it.
down there.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
So a lot of this stuff was drawn directly on a monolith master.
So what's the caption on this one here?
What's that?
What's the caption on this one? I can barely read that. You understand this?
Oh yeah, you understand this ruins your chances of promotion.
Yeah. Okay. And that is a private of some sort, I believe, holding a pistol, having just plugged An NCO, it looks like. Oh. Page. And there's a fellow down here at a desk. And apparently you flip it over and it's small. Whoops. A gal being told. Also, these dearie, you go out there and show your stuff. There goes the other end of my candle. Oh, nice cape and suitcases and feet.
No, they're skinny, weren't you?
Reckon said all men were made equal. Yeah, what a laugh.
And they wanted me to draw some cartoons for them once in a while. I never did do it.
Oh, you should have.
But, well, I was pretty busy at the
Yeah.
time.
Oh boy.
But he told me afterwards that he sent him up there, and,
They liked them.
they wrote back and wanted him to contact me.
Could have had a.
He died, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was a major at Edwards Air Force Base, and he used to be a Seabee. He was a Navy private, you know.
Yeah.
And when he got out of the Navy, he went, and he was basically an enlisted man. That's all there was to it, not an officer.
Yeah.
And when the houses become available over there where you could buy one for $50 down, there was about 5 of us guys that he gave each of us $50 and told us to go buy a house.
You're kidding.
Yeah. His father owned a chain of supermarkets in Kansas City. He was driving a Lincoln, 12-cylinder Lincoln at the time, you know. But he was just a basic good guy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So all of us went over and bought a house over in the same area. And when I went up to Thule, I think he's the one that taught Ruby how to drive, or
Oh, really?
gave her enough security that she would drive. I
Uh-huh.
had already taught her, but she was afraid of it, you know.
Yeah.
So when I got on the internet and found this buddy out in California, I told him that I had been trying to find Joe Heinzel in Kansas City, and I couldn't get his name to come up. And then Bob Hillman told me that Joe had died.
Mm.
And he was younger than either one of us. You know, it's hard to believe.
Yeah.
You know, we look back and say, oh, he was just a young kid, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We're going to last a long time, I guess, just to be obstinate. Did you say you were getting hungry then?
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, I could eat. Yeah, I could eat. How about you?
Well, I didn't eat today. I counted on going out with you tonight, so I wanted to make sure I would eat something.
Oh, great. Where's a good place to eat?
Well, there's Bob Evans.
We were just talking about Bob Evans.
Yeah.
We drove by and I actually said to Mom, as we got on the freeway, I just said, I wonder what Bob Evans is.
Oh, do you have him out there?
No, we don't. That's what I said. I asked her, I said, I wonder what it is. I said,
Yeah.
because it said restaurant, but I wasn't sure what kind. It just looked
Well,
pretty... Yeah, that's interesting.
He had a farm down in Rio Grande, they called it. That's what they say. I say it's Rio Grande,
Yeah.
but they call it Rio Grande. And he had a farm down there, and he made sausage. And everybody liked his sausage. And then he went to Gallipolis and opened up a little restaurant and had sausage and eggs and stuff like that, just breakfast basically, and coffee. And then pretty soon he opened up another restaurant, and then another one, and another one. Now I think he's got about 270 of them, mostly in the east here.
Yeah, I've never heard of him before, but it looked
Yeah.
like something. I mean, it just somehow you drove by and it looked
It's all
okay.
based on his sausage.
For heaven's sake.
And now he's got the same sausage in the grocery stores and stuff like that. He just made it, you know.
He made it, huh?
And he still has that farm.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
He kept the farm.
Yeah. Of course, with business like it is, he's not the chairman of the board anymore. He's the emeritus or whatever they call it, you know. He's retired,
Uh-huh.
and some businessman is a chief executive officer.
Yeah.
That's the way it is, downhill all the way once you get to the top.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, they boot you right out.
I think Dave Thomas has hung on for a long time.
That's Wendy's.
He's Wendy's, yeah.
Yeah, he started out that place by himself.
Yeah, right here in Columbus.
Really? I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Up on Broad Street, he worked for Kentucky Fried Chicken. And he decided that he could make a better hamburger than McDonald's did, so
His hamburgers are good.
so he opened up a place downtown, and he had just one restaurant. I don't know what he's got now.
Oh, Wendy's?
Well, we got two
Named after his
Wendy's.
daughter, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all the way across. We've got 2 or 3 or 4 of them right there in Sonoma County. You know, just they're everywhere.
Oh, they are. I mean, I don't know how many he's
They're
got.
pretty good.
There's 7,400 or something like that.
I always tend to feel a little full when I eat there, but that's just me personally. I think I like the place. It's got a good salad bar. You know, that 99-cent menu. The chili's good. It's not bad.
Yeah, I don't go for salads, so
I don't either.
Yeah, you guys, you both should be eating more salads, I'm sure.
I know I should too.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
should.
Yesterday I had a frozen dinner that had some green beans in it, and I forced myself to eat the green beans because
Yeah, but most of the green beans in those frozen dinners, they're so tough.
Yeah.
You can't chew them.
no, and it's like getting frozen peas, for instance. They don't taste
Yeah,
like
they
canned
don't
peas,
taste-
you
no.
know. But I forced myself to eat them because I knew I needed something other than just meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
Well, at least you're doing it. Well, you want to
Well,
go?
that was the only meal I had yesterday, though.
Oh, you're just like my mom.
I had a piece of French toast, frozen French toast, and 2 pieces of bacon this morning. And that's all I've had today.
Well, let's go get something to eat.
Yeah.
Well, I got so much dirt on my pants, so
Oh, who cares?
Oh, I
We
find
don't
it
care.
fine.
that's all right.
No problem at all. Okay,
And this pile of stuff here is getting pretty old and it's crumbly. There's crumbles all over.
yeah, we can clean that up. Let me,
Well, I got a throw rug in front of my couch because I sit on the couch all the time.
Mhm.
And got a TV table, just like you do here. And I eat there.
I do too. I can pick
Yeah.
this up and move it over.
Uh-huh. And on my throw rug, I got along, I paid, what was it, $2.98 for it? It's about 5 foot long and just yay.
Well, see, I really should take that one and put there in front of the bed.
That's what I got right there.
But I got a small one here in front of me
Yeah.
there.
But mine's all full of crumbs. That's
Yeah.
why I put it there, because I spill everything on it.
Well,
A wagon to get a gallon of milk. And I think we only paid $10, 10 cents for a gallon.
well, I think, wasn't it cheaper if you took your own can?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
'Cause we used to do it in a wagon.
Well, there's so much of this town here now. I asked Gordon Speece where, what's her name, was living. Carol Ryan?
Well, now that was one of your girlfriends,
Yeah, Carol.
and I can't remember her.
Well, I asked her where he was living, and he said, oh, he's just down the street there. And gee, even at that time, there must have been a dozen streets that I didn't know anything about.
Yeah. Well, see, we moved away from there.
If I had to have a bridge on it and then the straight section,
Yeah.
and she got hold of a table and cut a hole in it and set this sewer pipe down in there, and was going to use it for a flower pot. And she wanted me to paint something on it, paint a picture, you know. So I painted a forest and a lake and a real home. And she just loved that thing. I don't know whatever happened to it.
I don't even know what that
I'll have to ask her, we'll see if she still got it.
Yeah, you gotta look her up.
I don't know if I want to. She was sort of cute. Look what she looked like now. 73 years old, 72.
That's true.
I don't know if I want to see any of them. But maybe I don't want them to see me.
I don't want them to see me, that's for sure.
Well, anyway, Front Street stopped. Just past our place.
Oh, yeah. Right where the 64 is on there.
Yeah,
Was just about the end of it.
that's about it. And in fact, it stopped so dead that there was a farmer's gate across it.
Well, there was a cornfield right in back.
Earnhardt. Earnhardt? Earnhardt? Leonard? The farmer.
Leonard. Leonard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that goes right on through now.
Look at that, goes all the way through.
It runs into another highway, the
Yeah.
Ford Road. Route 64.
Jeez.
And let's see now, where's the railroad station?
That had to be right,
Right near Mokena Street, I guess.
yeah. Right at the corner there.
Yeah.
Because they were both on Front Street.
I wonder how much of that land the railroad still owns.
I wonder if the big tree is there.
It's gone.
Because see, on South Street, right where that little street that goes to Denny's, that's where Hacker's house was.
South Street and Denny,
Yeah,
and whose house was it?
Hacker's. That was the big
Yeah.
brown house
Yeah.
with the tree in the front, near the railroad. The
The-
big tree.
The tree was right across from the house we lived in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And that was owned by Hacker? That house that we rented?
yeah. But Hacker's lived right next door too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then who was the lady on the other side?
I can't remember her name.
She liked us.
Yeah, she liked her. She's the one that used to sweep our sidewalks all the time.
Yeah. And then,
And then we'd go down Denny's, and then Nordsel would be on this side of this little street over here.
yeah,
And then Tierney's would be way down here.
yeah, down at the, almost down to Mokena.
Yeah.
And he owned the land just about where that avenue is.
Uh-huh.
So you remember the barn that was in the back of our, right there?
Oh, yeah.
You remember when they put that kind of tree up on the roof?
Yeah, I do. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, they got it up there, and we were at the peak of the barn, and there was a bird on it. And I don't remember how they got it done, because I guess I had to go to school. And then they came back with the barn. Can you imagine what somebody... Of course, I probably think that barn was bigger than it really was.
Yeah, it had to be.
Maybe it was a small barn. I don't know.
Yeah.
Still pretty hard to get a Model T up on the roof of a house.
Well, even on a house, a
I
small
mean,
barn.
in a building.
But they did. They got it up there.
Yeah.
I wonder how they got it down.
I don't know. As I say, we went to school, and when we come back, it was gone.
Well,
And where
But I
did
do remember one time, though, when there was a Model T parked in front of the gas station across from the butcher shop, and it was a cold day, and it had rained, and these guys come out with a concrete block. They picked up the Model T and put this block under the axle. Now, a Model T's wheel obviously is about 32 inches. The block is at 16, and that wheel was just about an eighth of an inch off the ground.
yeah.
And this guy got out after filling up his gas tank and got in and started the car,
and it
and
wouldn't
it
go
wouldn't go.
anywhere.
And he was leaning out, pushing on it because he thought it was icy and he just wanted to slide over where the gravel was. And they let him sit out there for 15 minutes trying to get that thing moving.
And his wheels are spinning and he didn't even know it.
They used to do some of the darndest things in that gas station. I remember seeing guys come running out of that place from something, I don't know what from, but they would hassle each other all the time. And this one guy come running out of there and run all the way down to the pool hall before he turned around to see if anybody was chasing him.
Yeah. I don't know what they do.
But they just had a good time, really.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty funny.
But you gotta remember, that was all in the late 30s.
Depression time, with nothing else to do, and except for the people that worked for the railroad, nobody was working in town.
That's true.
Some of the guys in the service center do that kind of stuff to each other sometimes. One of the guys took like some kind of chocolate bar or something and got it nice and melted in his pocket and spread it all over the windshield wiper blades on one of the guys' vans, and then he took some stuff and splitched it right into the center of the windshield, and the guy got into his van and went, and hit the thing, and it went, and just sprayed chocolate, white chocolate all over.
That's as bad as the guy that was taking a nap down there at Edwards. He worked in the air defense, and he was laying back taking a nap, and these guys come up with some black paint and painted his glasses black. And he woke up and he couldn't see a thing, you know what I'm saying? And he had a hell of a time getting that paint off his glasses.
I bet.
That's a classic.
Of course, I should complain about that, and maybe I could get on medical instead of being a straight retiree. You know how the oscillate machine works, where they expose this blueprint paper and then you put it through the machine and the ammonia fumes cause it to darken up. Well, we spilled a gallon of ammonia in this office one time. And Hillman and I were the only two enlisted men. And I volunteered to go in and mop it up. And if I have any lung troubles, that
That
may
would
have been
cause
it, you know, that could have caused it after all these years.
Yeah.
And I never complained about it because I didn't feel bad at the time. But when these guys would retire, they would go to the doctors and get some kind of a medical certificate saying that they did so-and-so during the war. And then you don't have to pay income tax on your retirement.
Oh.
It's a medical retirement instead of service.
Oh, really?
Like Bob Gilman. See, he had a bad back where one of his vertebrae was fused when a bomb fell on him.
Uh-huh.
So he's got a medical and he doesn't have to pay income tax on his retirement. Well, I sent in mine this time, and they said I owed $46. I went to AARP to have it figured out for me.
Yeah.
So I gave him a check for $46, and I'm trying to see what's going to happen, see whether and I bet I'll get away with it.
I bet you will too.
All these years I've tried to be honest,
Yeah.
And they get me for some fantastic sums over the years,
I know.
2,000, 3,000.
I know.
And this time I've decided, well, I'll let it go through, you know. Now, it's dishonest on my part, except that I had somebody else do it and he signed it, you know, as being the guy that did it.
Yeah.
So it's not me, and I'm going to let it go through and see if they haven't reacted yet to it. So maybe I'm in the clear.
Yeah.
I'm still sending them that damn 150 a month. So.
I forget that. What can they do to you? You know?
Well, I'm going to do it one or two more times, and then I'm going to call them and say that there's one piece of one paragraph in there that says if the government cannot see any way that the bill will ever be paid, it can be forgiven or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was just a little paragraph.
Uh-huh.
And here I am, 75, owe $2,000 or something, paying 150, and they're charging me interest, which means that I pay about 70 probably.
Yeah.
They're never going to get that money.
No.
So why don't they just forget it?
Why don't they forget?
So I'm going to give it a try.
Well, you should.
Yeah.
But I'm going to keep up the payment up until the time I try, just so that they don't get pissed off at me again.
Yeah.
How many copies of this do you have?
You can have it.
I'll take this, you take that. That's the
Well,
one that
I got,
has yours.
I got another one right here.
Oh,
Of course, it's not the real small one, you know. It's a bigger one.
yeah, well, then I got the bigger one, haven't
Well, you got one of the big ones.
I? Yeah.
Because, see, this is even bigger.
Well, the only street I knew about was Front Street.
Yeah.
Nobody called any of them streets. There wasn't that many people in town to worry about it.
No. Because we didn't name the streets.
No.
We didn't have any names for them. It was two blocks down.
Front Street and Wolf Road. That's all.
Yeah.
And that old school down at the end of Front Street, the one that had the tubes at the fire escape, you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That was the one that was replaced by the one that I said was a good-looking school, which it was.
Yeah. I got another question. Do you remember the woman that she was a Christian Scientist
Uh-huh.
and she raised pigeons?
Pigeons.
What was her name? No. Okay. I can't think of it either.
No, but I do remember because I used to clean out those damn pigeon coops.
I know you
for her.
did. That's why I thought maybe you'd remember the name.
Well, I would remember it if it came to me, you know,
Yeah.
I'd know who it was.
Yeah.
But it was something, I believe something Schrader or something like that.
It could have been, yeah. I think it was an S.
But what I remember about her was that when I was sick that time, she brought a squab over to me. I wouldn't eat a squab today.
You ate it then, though.
I ate it then.
It was good, too.
And another thing she used to bring over was marzipan candy.
That's true. I remember the candy.
It looked like an egg sandwich, had bacon and egg and toast.
Yeah. Because she had to do that herself.
Did she?
She made that herself.
I didn't know she did that.
I think so.
But she was sort of special in a way, you know.
Well, she prayed over me.
And she prayed for me.
Yeah. Because, see, we went to the Christian Science Church.
Now that
Because
brings
her-
up something too. There were two boys that went to that same church over there from Joliet. And would you believe that when I was walking up the plank at Fort Ord, California to get on the boat, the guy that was standing in front of me was the same guy that went to church with me
Really?
in Joliet.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
That far away and you run into somebody you know.
Yeah.
Another time I was down in Tampa and I ran across a girl there that I went to high school with at Orland. And she was working at the nursing home. And she had me come over and have dinner with her at the nursing home. And it cost me $0.25. which I thought was a dirty trick. She invited me to lunch, you know.
She made you pay for it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, after we moved away from Mokena, and we lived in Chicago on Loomis Street, and I was working at Carson's, and right across the street of Carson's was a Grant's department store, and May Nordzel was selling shoes down there.
Well, for heaven's sake.
And you know May Nordzel and her husband and Lop Ears
Lip
and Jack.
was Jack.
Yeah, Lip
Melvin.
and Lop Ears.
Melvin was Lop.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. I remembered the Lop Ears, but I couldn't remember the Melvin.
Well, Lip used to cuss all the time, and that's why we called him Lip. And Lop,
Yeah, that was-
of course, he had big ears.
Yeah,
And they
well,
called
Lop,
they called me Tiny.
they called you. Well, you didn't grow until you were almost in high school.
Didn't I?
No, you were
I didn't
small.
know
Because you used to wear my clothes
yeah.
for Halloween.
Well, I didn't know I was small.
Well, frankly, I
I've been
didn't
trying to
either.
figure out all these years why they called me Tiny. You know,
Yeah,
well, that must be it.
yeah. Because you used to
Yeah.
wear my clothes at Halloween,
I
and
didn't
you
know I was
dressed up
Tiny.
as a girl.
And then there was Dodd Koppel,
Yeah.
good old Dodd. And good old Cruzy. And I'm glad they got married
Yeah.
because they were good to kids, both of them.
Oh, yeah.
Fred put up with Dodd. Fred didn't like the kids that much.
No, but
but
Dodd did. But Dodd married Cruzy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Fred Koppel was Dodd's older brother, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, they were brothers. And wasn't it Fred Koppel that owned the elevator?
You know, Fred and Dodd did, yeah.
Yeah.
They owned it together. They're
Yeah.
Koppel brothers.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Because,
Fred never
see-
did anything. Dodd was the one that run the place.
Oh, yeah, I know that. He was the smart guy.
Yeah.
But remember when Shorty rented a couple of rooms in the back
Mhm.
of the movie house,
Yeah,
where we had the movies every Saturday?
right. And that's where he got married.
Yeah.
And that's where he burned himself.
Yeah.
Had a
And
bad
Doc
time.
McMahon, because when he burned himself, I was the one that spread butter all over him. And that was the worst thing I could have done for him, because Doc McMahon had to take all that butter off before he could treat the
Uh-huh.
poor guy's burns. But the
Does he know
stove
about
blew.
those burns?
Huh?
Does he know about those burns and the fact that he'd only been married a little while?
Well, he was making a
Hey.
fire.
He had a little stove, and he threw some kerosene on it, and the coals were still there from the night before.
Oh,
And he was standing there in his shorts. I imagine he had his shorts on,
Yeah.
and he got burned right here,
ooh.
bad.
Bad. And I was the one that rubbed the butter all over him. Privates and all.
And then, you remember the old guy that looked like Buffalo Bill?
Oh, yeah. He used to live back there too.
Yeah, he lived in the front part of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, or on one of the sides, I guess it was.
Yeah.
But he had a Model T that had a cabin built on the back.
Oh.
Oh,
And it wasn't
yeah.
just a cabin, it was a house.
It was a
It had
house.
clapboard siding and windows and
Oh, I've
shutters
seen those
and a
kind of
back
things.
porch.
Yeah.
And I suppose he used to use it in show business, you know, because he looked just like Buffalo Bill and acted like him.
Well, you know, Grandma knew the regular Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, I know that, and it runs up every once in a while on the History Channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, they'll have something about Buffalo Bill in there.
Yeah,
And
because
the
she
real
used to
West.
sit on his lap.
And
And then she knew Barnum's white elephant. She knew it had something to do with
The-
Barnum's
the
white
trainer?
elephant.
the trainer probably.
I don't know. I can't remember. All I know is Barnum's White Elephant.
Well, Granddad did trapeze work, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the first triple trapeze artist.
Horizontal bars.
And he fell on his stake and had,
And I've got a mole right about where his stake would be.
and I've got a white circle right here.
Have you?
I did have anyway.
Well, his chicken skin was on his left side.
Yeah, but
And
I
I've
got the white one on
Uh-huh.
the right side. I don't know whether I still got that or not.
And I've got a mole over here on this side here.
But he had the live chicken in bed with him for a skin graft.
And it took. It
And he
never,
was pulling pin feathers out of there for years.
and you know how the body will usually discharge something,
Yeah.
but it never did, and the chicken skin was enough to do it.
Because he had the live chicken in bed with him. Because he fell on a big stake
Oh, yeah.
from the trapeze. Sheesh.
So they shaved the chicken or
So
something.
after
and-
that, he became a comedian instead.
Blackface.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he never went back up there again.
He was always afraid of heights after that, too.
So was I.
So
And
am I.
I've had the occasion to paint an elevator top. You know, where you're standing up in the elevator and there's a
Mhm.
little cupola at the top,
Oh, sure.
Mhm.
and its slanted roof is like this. And I'm up there painting, and I'm scared.
Shitless.
My toes are curled up like bird toes
Uh-huh.
trying to hold on, you know?
Well, you know, I don't like to go across a bridge. I don't like to drive across
It
bridges.
can't run in the
not so bad
family
if
based
you
on what I've,
continue.
you know.
Huh?
It can't run in the family based on where I've been.
That's true.
Well,
I've
on the
gone-
bridge it isn't so bad unless you have to stop.
Yeah.
If you stop, then you can feel the bridge going like
Oh,
this.
don't bother. I've done skydiving
Yeah, but
and bungee
me
jumping.
knowing that there's nothing underneath
Yeah.
of that bridge drives me nuts. Because
Uh-oh.
even Millie, she knows that I don't like bridges.
Well, one time I went up in a parachute drying tower, and up at the top, they don't have a floor. All they have is the expanded metal sheeting,
Yeah.
and you can see right through it.
Oh,
know.
sure.
You look down and you can adjust and see the metal, but if you adjust to see the floor down there, you don't see the metal.
Yeah.
So you're just floating,
Yeah.
and it's a terrible feeling.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you know, Susie is afraid of heights too.
Is she?
Yeah.
So where did I go wrong?
I don't know.
Well, you probably are benefiting from the fact that I went up on that damn elevator and
Oh,
painted that.
Well, I used to be a little afraid of heights. Just more, not so much afraid of them, but more like obsessed with them, thinking about them. Always afraid I would jump. And then one time in Las Vegas, I went bungee jumping, which is like a 170 tower
Yeah.
with the cable on your foot. And
Well,
I was mortified. I was terrified to do it. But once I did it, it was like
that's
great.
what I'm afraid of. And I went up on the Empire State Building,
Oh, that'd be great.
and I was afraid that I would want to jump.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is.
I think actually maybe we're actually like into it, but it's counter programming. It's like against what you really want to
I
do.
think that's why I
Yeah,
don't
it-
like to go up in
It's
planes.
almost as if you're afraid you will. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did, and once I did, it was great.
Yeah.
And then after that, I went skydiving, and that was great. And so now it's not heights, just not at all.
Well, that's good if you can lick the problem. I don't know. There's so much though that we don't know about pop,
Yeah.
and so much we'd like to know.
Well, I found out that Pop always said his father's name was George Clevenger and that he was married to a Mary Rice. Well, we can't find a Mary Rice, but we can find a George that was married to a Rachel. Now, her name could have been Mary Rachel
Yeah.
or Rachel Mary,
Yeah. Well, no,
because see, he ran
new
away
book,
from home when he was 8.
This new book that Clevenger is putting out goes into immigration and all, and it should be better than this one here.
Yeah, because I can't see anything in here that
No.
tells me anything about anything.
No, my name is in there, and that's why
That's
they
it, huh?
sold it to me.
Yeah,
They've got a little bit about the Clevenger name. They've got the coat of arms in there. But every time they say something, they say, but it could be different than this.
yeah.
And the
I
coat
know.
of arms, they say, well, this is one version of it. You
Well,
know?
you see, Millie was looking at the website for genealogy.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things I thought I would like to have, because the Masons or the Mormons have got theirs on the line now, and you can
Yeah,
go
I
to
know.
them. And
Yeah.
it doesn't cost you anything.
I know.
And there's
But we
about
did
four
find
different.
out that George had married Rachel, and then there was 3 girls living at home when the census was taken in 18, because Pop was 4 years old, and they had a Frank, but there was 3 girls living at home at the same time. And Frank was born in 1876,
Mhm.
and we think that that was Pop.
It probably was.
And
yeah.
his sisters before that was Violet and Rachel. There was another one. Violet and Rachel. Oh, I can't remember. Millie's got all the papers because she's been doing this on her computer.
Well, just recently is when the Mormons opened up theirs for public use. And they've got millions of names.
Yeah. But we
Yeah,
can't find
that's their
anything
job.
because this was in Trenton, New Jersey, and that sounds right.
Yeah.
And but we can't find anything in Gloversville, New
No,
York,
I didn't either.
and we don't know what. Pop said that
There's
his
a lot of
family.
Georges, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of Georges, but Pop said that his family owned a chateau in Lyon, France. Now that could have been
Okay,
his
now,
grandmother or something.
now in France, there is one, and it's James, and it's in a town called Montlucent. Montlucent, yeah.
Now this was supposed to be Lyon, Lyon.
But there's only one Clevenger in France, all of France.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, now maybe James was his great grandfather or something.
In Germany, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Now we don't have anything.
In Ireland, there's 2.
Huh.
And do you know where most of them are in the United States?
They were all on the
Ohio.
east coast.
Ohio.
Ohio,
Uh-huh.
New York, and New Jersey. But then there's a lot of other Clevengers too. But the thing is that his 12 sisters, we can't trace them because we don't know who they married.
Mhm.
They wouldn't be Clevengers.
No. There's 10,000 of them in the United States. And there's 422 in Ohio. And
But see, unless we get a census and we know before 1880, because he would have been 4 years old in 1880. And that's the census that this Sarah Clevenger found all this. And it sort of fits in there. But see, with 12 sisters, why, they wouldn't be Clevengers.
no. And where did Gloversville come in?
We don't know. But Pop said that his family lived in Gloversville.
Yeah. Well, now, to get back to the evasive part of it, Gloversville is an easy word to remember.
Yeah.
And if he was changing things, like 1776, and July the 4th,
I know.
that's not hard to remember.
I know.
So,
Maybe he was wanted.
well, he was.
Maybe we're not
I
even
can-
Clevengers.
I can name 5 people that wanted him and enjoyed him.
That's for sure. And we loved him.
And as far as any scandal is concerned, the way he felt about drinking, it may have been drinking that caused the scandal, and he just turned it off, and that was it.
Yeah.
And it has
Because, you know-
something to do with Cincinnati.
Yeah. But what?
But what?
Do you think he gambled? Or got in with a mob or something?
Well, no, he may have gambled. And pool, too. He was good at pool.
And pinochle.
That's what I mean by gambling.
Yeah.
And
And he could have changed his name there for a while.
Maybe Clevenger is a name he picked, and we're not even actually Clevengers.
no, I don't think so, because that's not such an easy name to remember. You
Okay.
would take something
Yeah, but
like...
remember he told me his name was Cleo Fongier.
Yeah,
Well, that's just a
See,
pronunciation.
that's a French pronunciation.
yeah. And they don't mention that in here.
No.
I checked all the names that they've
Uh-huh.
got. They've got Clevenger
Yeah.
and even Cleveland. They
Yeah.
connected.
But Cleo
All these-
Fongier.
All these names are of the same type. And you see there's nothing in there with a K at all.
Well, it would be a C.
He
Because-
spelled it with a K to me.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. A K and a PH.
Cleo
K-L.
Fongier?
K-L-E-O-P-H. And that's as much as I remember. I
Yeah.
don't remember the rest. But it was probably G-E-U-R or something like that.
I thought it was J-U-R. I don't know really,
Well,
because,
it couldn't have been anything bad.
no,
It was probably
No, it
something that he
wasn't
was
murder.
ashamed of. you
it
know.
wasn't murder.
No. But you see, the New York Times used to publish a book. And they had a book for every year that they were in business. And they had everything in there alphabetically. If you got a book for, say, let's say 1880, you could look up the name Clevenger, and they would have page number so-and-so, issue so such and such, and you could look up to see what was said about him, or that Clevenger. And that was true of every year that they published, up until the time that I was at the Pentagon, because they had them all, and I never got around to checking all of them.
Yeah.
But the Pentagon had a terrific library, and they filed everything. And that's where I found the telephone directory for Mokena, Illinois.
Oh,
And the reason they had that was because I had a high clearance, and they ordered that book and called up somebody in town and said, what kind of man is this guy, you know.
yeah.
And then when they were finished, they filed it away, and there was Mokena, Illinois.
Just because of you.
Just because of me, because there was nobody else in the service in that town that went up that high.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Huh.
And I had a pretty good clearance.
Yeah, you were
And
top gun there.
someplace in that file there's a form that's about this long and 4 pages. And I had to write down everywhere I lived, addresses, where I worked, what my name and nickname was, everything about me that I knew. And someplace there's a file of that in my records.
At the Pentagon.
And I
huh?
don't think I can read it anymore in mine. But I would love to see it, because I can't remember everything I wrote.
Yeah.
I remembered it at the time. I could give them all my addresses in Chicago,
Huh.
and it was enough for a history of a man.
Yeah.
And if anybody could get that copy of that from the records department in St. Louis, it would tell you all about me, you know. And I feel sure that if we could get Pop's Army record, which you can get a copy of it, it would have any names he went by before he was married,
Oh, sure.
where he was born, nicknames,
Yeah.
dependents, and everything. And
So
maybe
he-
that's something that you ought to do, is write to the Military Records Department and see if you could get a copy of his record.
Yeah.
And all they charge you is 50 cents a sheet for a Xerox copy.
Really? Sheesh.
And you know how I am. I say, oh, I'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah,
So I keep saying I'm going to do something tomorrow, and I never do.
I know. Me too. Me too.
So maybe he's different. Maybe he could write.
Okay. We can do that.
But it's available, and if anybody had access to a real good library that might have copies of the New York Times magazine, maybe there would be something in there because of New Jersey being that close.
Yeah.
Or if any of the Cincinnati papers did the same thing,
Well, you know, I'd like to find all the census records.
well, that's available now. It might be in the last Time magazine. They had a big section in there about
I'll be right back.
You want to go home for
No, no, I'm just going out to my car and grab that
Because
soda.
it's already 10 o'clock.
Don't matter. I gotta get my soda.
Okay.
someplace in one of these, almost a current issue. They had a lot about the internet and looking up your genealogy. I don't think it was, you know, but it could have been. It's the same type of subject.
Did you like all those reminiscences?
Oh, yeah. I've got one in the car
Mm-hmm.
for emergency use.
Yeah.
If I go to a restaurant and have nothing to read. See what I mean about advertising?
Yeah. You can't find anything because it's all
Not
advertising.
even the index.
There ain't no index.
I had to miss it. I didn't.
Chat rooms?
Yes. I don't think that's it. That's stupid that they don't. They don't have an index. Well, it wasn't that issue anyway. These are too old now. Can you see what it is?
certificate of authenticity.
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 No, below that.
Huh?
Oh.
Soon, kiddo.
Should we go tomorrow or the next day?
Whenever you want to go.
Let's try to go tomorrow then.
Okay. What time do you want to leave?
Okay, here we are. Mokena. And who is Hacker?
She knows more than I do about hackers.
Oh, okay, but that was their house?
Yeah. And then you'll have to get over here so you can see this one.
Yeah, and this is where you guys lived. So that tree has been there for a long, long time. So who is Hacker?
Well, Hacker was our landlady, and we lived there, and she owns that house too, or did. Red Speech used to live down there somewhere.
So it hasn't, this area here hasn't changed too much. But you say there's the train station's not where it used to be. And the
Be on the other side of the track.
silo is gone.
Oh, yeah.
So how are you feeling?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm feeling fine.
Oh, I hope that was recording. Right.
Was it?
Just a second.
And not only that, but remember we had a big backyard. And our backyard went past
Way past there.
this other house behind
I
it.
remember coming, undressing on the way in.
Yeah. And we had grapevines
Yes.
and potatoes. Because we used to have to go out with a can of kerosene to take the potato bugs off the potatoes.
We had a
That's true. Well, let's go around here and see what we can get from Red's
Sit down
Piece.
and come back to you on that
And then
other
come-
street over there. Yeah.
Come on Jenny Street,
Yeah.
so that we can see where Nordsel's and,
The other house.
yeah. You lock the car.
Yeah. Okay, I'm
unlock
gonna
the
turn
car.
it off. Don't say anything interesting.
Because I guess your uncle worked there for a while,
Yeah.
and he got lice there. And he gave them to me.
Shorty, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what Mom told me, is they were lice.
So it was a brewery.
So I think it was crabs and he got it from somebody else.
Remember that?
He got run over.
Yeah, he was a tramp. And that's where Mr. Benson used to be the crossing guard. Now they're turned down in the street.
Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Pop's cannon in the back. Take a shot of that.
Yeah.
And we used to play in that cemetery all the time. It
get
wasn't.
right
It
back.
didn't look this good. It was all grown up.
So he painted that.
Yeah, but he painted it olive drab, and it looks like it needs a new coat.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's Battleship Gray. It's not
Yeah.
olive drab anymore.
No. This, I believe, is all vacant here.
Oh, yeah, this was all vacant.
Yeah.
There was nothing back there either.
No. Pretty soon, though, and things are turning up faster than I think.
Yeah.
We had a brown house down there. That
Yeah, there
brown
was a
house.
brown house down there.
It's down on the next street, I think. But everything's so small, and things are happening too fast.
Well, I can go slow.
Well, I mean, distances aren't the same to me as they were when I was young. It strikes me that there has to be a street that leads down to that other house, so.
Yeah. Now, Nordsel's lived right here somewhere.
On this side.
Yeah.
I would recognize the inside of the house.
Oh, yeah.
There's your street right there.
Yeah, no, there's that
Okay, then Nordsel's lived right here somewhere.
little... it had to be just about where that new place is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless it was that
Other
gray
one.
house down there.
It could be that one.
That bluish one?
Yeah, this one over here. Not the bluish, but the tan house.
Yeah, the tan one.
That one looks like their Nordsel's. Doesn't it?
Yeah, this name on this mailbox is Thielman.
Thielman? Thielman?
Thielman.
You're talking about the yellow house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been there a while.
That one's been there a while. That might be Nordsel's.
It could be.
Yeah, it sure does look like it. Yeah.
I'm getting it on video.
Well, that's all right. I want pictures too, because then I can send some pictures back to Gordon. Because I usually get two.
Okay. I'll make a copy of this tape too.
That would be nice.
I gotta get this window up. It's raining.
Then Leslie can see it too.
Yeah.
And turn the windshield wiper on. There we go. And still drive. And
Well,
hold.
there was no houses on this side, was
No,
there?
No.
Nothing
I
was
don't
over
think
here.
so.
No, but starting here there could have been though.
That looks pretty old.
Well, our
another-
yard
Came all the way back.
came almost to the end here,
Yeah.
about to the end of this house.
But then there was another hacker that lived there.
There was another woman there, and she gave me my first permanent in 1933. I remember my first permanent, but that's not the house she lived in.
Straight or turn?
I guess straight.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, straight.
Yeah. Then we'll be coming to the Baudry's house in Turney's.
Oh, now them I've heard of.
Oh, it's been so long though, I can't remember a lot of these houses.
I can't either. Because we never paid any attention to anybody except
None of these are the Turney's or the Baudry's either. The house is gone.
their houses are gone.
They're gone. Unless we're on the wrong street. I don't think
No,
we are.
I don't think
Turn-
so.
Turn right here.
Your
Might-
distances might be skewed from the fact that the street might not have been here. Well, no, it had to be there because of the. Would they live on the same street as the folks in the yellow house back there?
I
Yeah.
thought they did.
Now these houses weren't here. This was all
No.
just land.
Yeah.
All of these?
Yeah, this was just land. This was all Stanker's farmland.
Yeah.
I wonder where Stanker's farm is.
It has to be right over there.
Yeah.
We'll turn to the right here.
Yeah, maybe our brown houses.
I'm gonna pull over. There's somebody coming. There's some farmland over there.
That's
Yeah,
probably
that's-
Stanker's farm too.
Yeah, that's part of it. At least it's still being used.
Now our brown house could be on this street. You know?
It could be, yeah.
I should proceed straight
Straight,
then.
yeah, straight
Yeah,
ahead.
straight.
We've got a street name here, but you say you don't. You might not have even had street names
No,
back
we
then.
We didn't have any street names.
It's called Hiawatha Boulevard at this point.
No way.
Well,
The street itself doesn't even look that old, unfortunately.
No.
I mean, the pavement has been.
turn to the right here too then.
Here's Center Street.
Well, we don't know Center Street.
No.
Okay.
No, all of this was not here, period. This was all just plain land.
But if that brown house was along here, it has to be right up here.
Yeah.
And it just seems to me that that was a decent enough house that it should be around.
Yeah, no, not only that, but it was a two-story house.
But this is not it.
Nope.
There's a two-story brown house right there.
That's too new.
Oh, okay. Well, where
Now we're on Denny's again, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Denny Street, I had to remember.
Go back down this way and we'll go down Front Street and see,
Yeah.
see where the hardware store is and the butcher shop.
Now these,
No. No,
this isn't,
we're completely lost now.
yeah. This was not here, period.
No. In fact, there was a little shed on this corner right here. They
Yeah.
used to hide cigarettes in.
Take a left.
Yeah. And now we're back up to where the theater was, if you want to call it a theater.
Yeah. And get a picture of this.
And even that looks small now.
It sure does.
Which one?
This one here.
big building, the big building here.
Yeah. That's Shorty's first house where he lived. was
Turn
right back
down
there.
here too.
Yeah.
I want a picture of the grain elevator. And Shorty used to
Yeah.
live in the back of here.
Right
Tore
here.
down most of that grain elevator. The kids
Yeah.
did. Right there where the garage is, really.
I want to get a
And our
picture.
house was, the butcher shop is gone.
You're kidding. Really?
It's gone. Yeah,
Oh,
because it was right across there.
yeah.
So turn here and go back down there on the other side of that big building, we'll say. Or you can.
I can come down the other street
Yeah.
though.
And that should still be Stanger's too. Now that could
Oh,
be their
yeah.
farm out there.
That could be,
Yeah,
because it was quite a ways out.
yeah.
Okay, I want a picture of Stanger's farm.
I have to. Hang on a second. Okay, hold on. Ah, that didn't work.
Oh, you zoomed in on it. Yeah, that's right. I didn't think. We're shopping post office, right?
Yeah,
And this is where the butcher shop was.
this is where the butcher shop was, right here.
Yeah, right here.
Oh. Boy, that's where it was.
That's called Little Al's now.
This is where the barber shop was?
No, this is where our butcher shop
The
is.
butcher shop was.
That's where we lived in the butcher shop.
But it's gone.
Butcher shop. It's gone.
And who?
That's where they drunk ended up.
Okay.
Kids got killed.
You know what's really kind of synchronous and funny? The name of that bar? Little Owls.
Yeah, his brother was Little Al.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.